I prefer to cook everything in my beloved wok. It has an aroma of its own, and any food you make in it, it imparts that wok flavor. They call it the breath of the wok.
Hi, May.
Hi,
How are you
How
doing?
are you, Francis?
I am very excited. I see your bottle of shrimp paste.
That's my secret ingredient.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Shrimp paste is like a fermented paste of dried shrimp. It has a very strong
Potent.
but beautiful flavor, I
Yeah,
think.
some famous restaurants use that on all their fried rice. The secret's out.
This wok looks well loved.
Yes, over 50 years. My mom
50
gave it to
years.
me. Well seasoned, well loved. I use it all the time.
Oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
so glad you have it with you.
I can't be without it.
I can't wait to taste this.
Thank you,
Excited for you.
Francis. Okay, I gotta season it now.